Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Customer Spotlight. Today, we're going to talk to Jobs Ohio, and we're going to discuss how Ohio uses RoboHead to maintain a balanced workload. We have Angie Migliozzi with us today. She's the senior traffic manager, and she's going to appear momentarily. But before that, I just wanted to really thank you for being here. Please use the chat to ask any questions and engage. Also, for more entries to win prizes, review us on G2. That information is located in the lobby info desk, and recordings will be available after the session today. Just look for the agenda for access to the recorded sessions. All right. Let's see if we can get Angie and she can show up. There we are. Welcome, Angie. So this is Angie Migliozzi, and she is with Jobs Ohio. She is the senior traffic manager. She has been with Jobs Ohio, and they and Angie have been with RoboHead for 5 years now. During that time, they have added SSO, they've added RoboHead Data Direct. They've been working on some integrations as well. So they're a great account to look at how they've done some deep dives, and they really use RoboHead to help them manage the workforce that they have. So I'm going to let Angie kind of tell us a little bit more about your team, how you're using RoboHead to manage the work that you all are doing.
Yes, absolutely. I've been with Jobs Ohio, like you said, for 5 years. I was brought on as a senior traffic manager and to find a project management tool. This team did not have any type of way to track any projects. So I vetted probably about 25 different tools, and we chose RoboHead because of the customization ability, and I loved the annotation tool. Um, I work for a marketing and communications team. We use about 30 to 40 licenses, and we also are using RoboHead request for the intakes, just to track a lot of the projects that come in that range from digital, print, and in social. They are all fast moving projects, and we have to track them and make sure that we keep on them and make sure that we're meeting our deliverables. And the project management tool that we chose was RoboHead. And we've evolved tremendously in the last 5 years as well. Our team is very unique. We have internal resources and we have external resources. So when I was looking for a tool, I knew that I wanted to get to a point where I was able to use resource utilization once we started budgeting and strategically planning, and making sure that, we were assigning the resources based off of capacity. Our projects range from, the single deliverables that we have, and also repetitive planned campaign projects as well.
Okay. All right. That's great. You use it a lot then.
Yes.
Perfect.
And I was actually I still am mostly the only traffic manager, and our team has grown up to over 20 people. I've gotten some help to help me, but we managed to schedule about 1,000 projects last year. So it was important to be able to have a tool for us to kind of go and evolve with us as we grew.
Mhm.
So we've done a lot of enhancements in order to make sure that we, succeed and keep on top of all of our deliverables, and also be able to provide reporting to leadership.
Yeah. I knew just with your volume and your knowledge of RoboHead that you would be perfect to talk about this subject. So, again, I just really appreciate your time today doing that for everyone. We're going to have some discussion questions, but before we do, let me just give kind of a brief look at the areas we're talking about in case you aren't familiar. So, in order to find the resource utilization chart and also workforce planning, you are going to want to go to the users tab. And when you're in that users tab, if you go way up to the far right corner, most of you are probably looking at the list view currently. But if you click into that drop down, you're going to be able to see the resource utilization chart here. Something I don't think we'll be looking at all today, but there is managed planned hours. And then below that is workforce planning. I'm going to just click into resource utilization quickly. You're going to see a better screenshot of this with the team that's actually using it in a moment. We're going to look at Angie's team. But within the resource utilization chart, you can plug in a date range. You are going to have a toggle up here. At the bare minimum, you do need to be tracking estimated hours on your tasks. But as you can see, if you are tracking actual hours or your team is, you can also toggle in to see what they've already completed or what their actual hours were on those tasks that they've been assigned. Now, also, you'll see that you've got each of the users available here. And as you're looking at this calendar, it's set up by week. By default, you have 8 hours in a day for each user. The weekends will be grayed out, as well as any company holidays that you have entered into the RoboHead account. At the bottom, as people are assigned work, it's going to show up in green, and those are, in this case, estimated hours. Anything blue is unused. Over allocated, meaning if I were to go over 8 hours of assigned work, in this case, it's going to show up in red above that. And then the gray is off again. It's weekends. It's going to be those holidays that have been entered into the account. It could be sick time off, whatever that is. You'll see that. I don't know that, again, we'll be talking about this, but just this is a common question that comes up when we're talking about capacity. In the users tab and in that users actions menu, you can adjust capacity. So if maybe you have a freelancer or a contractor, or maybe you just are taking into account that there's lunches or meetings that always happen on Monday and you know the capacity is 6 hours on that day, you can adjust the capacity. So there's room for a little bit of that customization. Workforce planning is the next step. So after you've started using after you've started using the resource utilization chart, then you can move into that workforce planning toggle. And this is going to give you more information that will, we'll give it a second to load up in here, but it will give you information on, what you can, again, group this by task role. You can group it by user, but it will give you what the assigned hours were for a period of time, what was actually worked for a period of time. The yellow line across is the actual capacity. And then you can also get that previous year's worked information here on this chart if you so desire. Okay, that's the brief overview. So again, to find these, just go to your users tab and then go to that upper right hand corner. All right, give me 1 second here. There we go. So Angie, I'm back. So Angie, can you tell us, how did you decide? I mean, I knew that this was something you were looking for initially when you evaluated RoboHead, but how did you decide to use resource utilization and workforce planning for your team?
Well, it wasn't until our team was able to finally budget and plan that I really stepped up and said, let's do forecasting. Let's do some resource utilization, especially with the teams that we have. So once we were able to budget for the fiscal year for 2024, we started planning on creating effort hours for the types of tasks that were there. We also looked at what types of time does everybody have on their team as well. I know, Kathy, you shared you can change that capacity in the chart. And that's specifically what I did. I met with all the groups as well. But with our planning, we were able to really kind of map out what work was going to be coming in. And we mapped it out from master briefs to sub briefs from each area. And we were able to kind of hold resources as well. So it was a really great time to do it. I think if I didn't have that planning up front strategically, it would have been a little bit difficult to do. But with our brand campaign management team, we were able to really look at that strategically. And I was like, this is the time that we're going to look to try to, do this resource utilization and planning with forecasting with the resources that we have available.
Okay. Okay. Can you, so I guess those are kind of your examples of how you were specifically using it. I know that I have some slides. I don't know. Let's go through those slides and you can maybe speak a little bit more to that specific use of resource utilization on this page, anyway.
Yeah, so this slide really shows, this only shows like one group. So this is going to show the creative group. So, and this is where I talked a little bit about how we have resources that are internal and resources that are that external. So I was able to, put these effort hours in when either real projects are coming in or when we forecast. So knowing that, I'm able to look across the teams pretty quickly and be able to see, okay, if we've got work coming in, what does my resources look like? I know that we really kind of focus on skill set, but I also need to look at that capacity because we're really trying to get um, a lot of these projects moving and, without a hitch, trying to get those done. So I'm able to also help out with the dialogue
Mhm.
with the teams and with leadership and be able to show like this is what we're looking at as far as what work is already in the pipeline, what work is coming through. This is who I recommend. Is this the right resource to do this project? Things like that. So we actually have a plan to really schedule and look at and balance that workload. As you can see here, there's a lot of red. So I'm able to go in and, look at what's red, what's causing that. But I thought this was a really good example to share with you to really show like where the capacity is hitting the line, where it's over, where it's under, where we have resources available. But it gives me a, in the moment view of what we have as far as resources to do the jobs that are coming in.
And then I know this next slide is going to show you're really
Mhm.
what you're seeing here is those jobs that are assigned to Greg in this case.
Yes.
And that's all at a glance. How else does this particular view help you out?
This helps me out too with when I'm going to schedule. So if something comes in and it's a rush project and I really need Greg to really focus on it like those first 4 days, but it's going to take me over capacity for Greg, I can easily change some of those tasks right here and kind of manipulate and maneuver and kind of what I would do is, not that I'm telling anybody how to do their job or anything, but I can make those durations smaller in order to get those done and be a little bit more precise in what work needs to be done and when it needs to be done.
Mhm.
So it's being able to have the visibility to
Mhm.
see where things are and be able to maneuver through the work that's here. And if I need to have that dialogue with their manager or anything, I'm able to pull this up and show them specifically. This is why we can't do this project, or this is why I need to move this project over because we have something else that came in for priority. So this is such a wonderful tool to be able to see that and be able to communicate and have a visual to it too is always helpful. When we're talking with managers or anything like that too as well.
Mhm. Mhm. Okay, that's great.
Yeah, and it's really nice too, as you change those tasks,
Mhm.
your capacity will shift
Just
immediately. So
yeah,
then you are seeing in time, like, how that shifts and it, you know, either adds or removes. So it's showing immediately. Like, you don't have to do that manual work to try to figure things out. The
yeah,
tool is doing it for you.
and in
Sorry.
real time. No, I agree. I agree. I'm
Yeah.
glad that you mentioned that. A few more questions. Were there any surprises once you've set up your resource utilization and workforce planning?
Yeah, there was surprises when we started looking across the board, especially resources. I'm going to pick on creative, but it was really surprising to see like the different balance there was between internal and external. I could see right away where there, is going to be capacity issues and where we may not be using or utilizing certain resources.
Mhm.
So that helped me with the dialogue with the creative manager saying, we need to shift some of this work around because I don't have this person with enough work, or I have this agency with too much work. So it was very clear, and very quickly I was able to kind of identify that. I I I tend to have a hunch before I was using the resource utilization function,
Mhm.
but now it actually shows me that. So it was very surprising to me. Also, it was very easy, as we showed you before, to toggle
Mhm.
between the resources and be able to move timelines very, very quickly. In tools that I've used before, it hasn't been as quickly as that. So this makes it very nice in the ease of manually, not manually, but it populates pretty
Mhm.
quickly for you in the ease of adjusting. So that made it made it really easy. And also just being able to show and give facts on data
Mhm.
when you're talking to teams, that has been crucial with making business decisions on who the resources are going to be and how we need to schedule certain projects. Every project that comes in is different. So being able to have that flexibility
Mhm.
and being able to manipulate quickly and easily was huge.
Okay, very good. Uh, Once you implemented it, how quickly did you see results?
Immediately. I saw them immediately. We were able to, align the tactics and the people, especially since we had planned work in there.
Mhm.
When the rush work would come in, I was able to really clearly identify like what I needed to shift or
Mhm.
what I needed to move. So we saw that right away. And also, as we started to forecast with the planning, with the budgeting, and everything else, I'm able to run reports. And this is an example of a report that I run every week. And it's basically over the master briefs and the sub briefs. And this gives visibility. I send it to the whole team, even though I may be following up on one specific task in the project, which is basically when the master brief is going to come in. But I forecast everything to that master brief. So if that master brief is going to move up or is going to be delayed, I'm able to shift the rest of the forecast out, and I'm able to hold those resources
Mhm.
and also give the reminder to our team when those subbriefs are due. So it was immediate, and I think to the team it really appreciates this because the way work was coming in before, it was pretty much a surprise. Oh, well, this is coming in. Oh, we're going to need a brief. Oh, but this is actually showing everything all planned out. And we're able to give the visibility to everybody, and they know that this is coming in, so they could at least start thinking about how are they going to want to do the projects for their channel, and start trying to, come up with some strategies on what we need to accomplish. And I think too, like even with the forecasting, it's much more robust, yet it's really less time consuming now,
Mhm.
because now that we have all of this in the system, it's so easy to adjust
Mhm.
and, change, because it's all there and it's almost a click of a button to change the timing and the timeline. So it makes it, really easy, and it's all in the system and anybody can go in and look at it. One thing too that I'm looking I'm very excited about moving forward is I'm going to start implementing some of the time tracking,
Mhm.
and with that time tracking, I'll be able to um, reconcile some of these effort hours that we have in currently. And with that time tracking, I'll be able to get better at doing some of that scoping or that forecasting, to get more precise
Yeah.
with that scheduling. So really, really excited about what that next step will look like, probably in 2024.
Yeah. More streamlined and more efficient as well, just by
Yes,
having that accuracy. Yeah.
exactly.
One last question to close out this session, Angie. Any tips for those admins and project managers looking to take advantage of resource utilization and or the workforce planning in RoboHead?
Yes, absolutely. Be patient. Um, just, it takes time to set it up,
Mhm.
but it will benefit you definitely in the long run. I'm already seeing some changes already. I think we started implementing this probably, I would say like the end of July, August,
Mhm.
probably starting in September. So it took some time to get in there, and this is something that I've been wanting for 5 years. So it takes time to do. Don't give up. And then, with any planning, you have to start somewhere. So you have to start somewhere, and, start using terms that the team can identify with. Be positive. It's really going to benefit you, too. And just, you know, you're going to get pushback. You're going to get pushback. It's change. But don't give up.
Mhm.
Don't give up. I think this is really going to benefit, especially, better budgeting, better communication between the teams. The visibility is huge. The team is going to feel a lot better knowing what's on their horizon. And then just, more on time deliverables. It gets better as you plan out and forecast the resources.
Thank you so much, Angie. I really appreciate your time today. I think you were very helpful. And I also think it's nice for everybody to know you didn't have to start this at the very beginning, but the functionality is there. And even,
Hmm.
years later, you can still dive in and you can still take advantage of the information to just, again, increase efficiencies, streamline, and then also just allocate your resources to the best that you can. All right. I'm
Thank
going
you,
to,
Kathy.
no, thank you so much, Angie. For everybody who is still here, I wanted to let you know up next we've got Matt Forbes, and he is going to be talking about using RoboHead for your annual reviews. Thanks so much for attending the user conference. It's really a pleasure. We enjoy doing this. Thank you.